You never know who you're saving, or who's really saving you. It was raining the night Elijah Carter's life changed again. After a grueling 12-hour shift at the auto repair shop and picking up his 6-year-old daughter from his sister's house, Elijah was exhausted. Bills were late, his fridge was half empty, and every part of his soul felt like it was running on fumes. But that night, someone was waiting for him at the edge of fate. As he turned onto a quiet backstreet shortcut to avoid traffic, his headlights flickered over two figures, one slumped against the dumpster, the other a tiny child shivering in the cold, their thin frame wrapped around a woman lying motionless. Elijah's heart raced. He pulled over, shielding his daughter with his arm as he stepped out cautiously. The woman's face was bruised, her lips split. The child had a small cut on her cheek, but her eyes, they were the kind of eyes that had seen too much for their age. "Ma'am," he whispered, crouching beside her. She flinched. "I won't hurt you," he said gently, holding out his hand. "Please, let me help." Her name was Maya, and the girl was her 5-year-old daughter, Hope. Elijah brought them home. It wasn't much, a 1-bedroom apartment with squeaky floors and peeling wallpaper, but it was warm, safe. He gave them his daughter's bed and tucked his own girl next to him on the couch. Maya barely spoke at first. Her hands trembled whenever she touched anything, her eyes darting like a cornered animal's. But Hope smiled. She had the resilience of childhood, the ability to find light even in the darkest shadows. She colored with Elijah's daughter, sang softly to herself, and whispered thank you more than once. Over the next few days, Elijah tried not to pry. He let them be, cooked what he could, shared what little he had, and slowly, Maya began to trust him. "He used to be kind," she said one night, eyes cast down, "until he wasn't. Until I stopped recognizing the man I married." Elijah didn't ask more. He knew pain when he saw it. He knew what it meant to fight every day just to get out of bed and pretend everything was okay for the sake of a child. What he didn't know was that Maya and Hope weren't just running from an abusive man, they were hiding from something much bigger. For days after he found them, Elijah was dropping his daughter off at school when the police arrived at his door. Maya froze, her hands went cold. Elijah stood protectively in front of her as the officers approached. "Sir," one of them said, "we're not here to arrest you, but we do need to speak with Ms. Maya Weston." Maya stepped forward. The officer's expression softened. "We've been searching for you and your daughter for weeks," he said. "Your husband isn't just abusive. He's being investigated for human trafficking, money laundering, and attempted murder. You were the key witness, and you disappeared before we could get you to safety." Elijah stared in disbelief. He'd rescued a wanted woman not in the criminal sense, but in the sense that multiple authorities were trying to find her before her abuser did. "She's been scared to trust anyone," Elijah explained. "She thought running was her only choice." The officer nodded. "You may have just saved both their lives." The following weeks were chaotic. Maya was placed in protective custody for a few days but requested that Elijah be allowed to stay in touch for Hope's sake. For her sake, a trial was underway, and Maya's testimony was crucial. Elijah showed up at every hearing he was allowed to attend, supporting her from afar. When the verdict finally came guilty on all counts, Maya collapsed into Elijah's arms outside the courtroom. Tears streamed down her face. "We're free," she whispered. Months passed. Maya and Hope slowly rebuilt their lives. Elijah continued working overtime, raising his daughter as best as he could. But somewhere along the way, his home began to feel less empty. The girls began visiting more often. Movie nights turned into dinners. Dinners turned into Sunday morning pancakes. And then, something he never expected happened. One evening, while tucking her into bed, Elijah's daughter asked, "Daddy, is Hope my sister now?" He smiled. "Would you like her to be here?" she said, yawning. "Because Miss Maya makes you smile. And I like it when you smile." He turned off the light, heartful for the first time in years. A year later, on a bright spring afternoon, Elijah proposed, not with a diamond, but with a poem he wrote on a scrap of paper, handed to Maya under the oak tree where they'd often sit while the girls played nearby. She said yes through tears. The message of this story: you don't need to have everything to give someone everything. Elijah had nothing, not even hope, when he found Maya and Hope. But by offering kindness, he gained a family. By doing the right thing, even when it was hard, he changed the trajectory of someone else's life and his own. Because sometimes, the person you rescue ends up rescuing you right back. You never know when your moment of kindness becomes someone else's miracle. And maybe, just maybe, that's what we're here for.